What up, y'all? Spaceman. Let's get right into it. Now, yesterday, May 31st, 2018, at Tariq Nasheed's home, police paid him a visit with the guns drawn onto the teeth, pointed at him when he approached the door to leave the crib after them, hollering at him to say, "We want to holler at you, bruh." And why did they do this? Because, well, it's popularly believed to be because someone did what's called swatting. Now, what is swatting? That's when a troll that be sitting on their butt just gets on the phone and makes a bogus claim, sends police to your house claiming that you a terrorist or have bombs in your crib, stuff of that caliber, which is exactly the type of claims that they made that led these cops to Tariq Nasheed's house. Now, who is Tariq Nasheed? If you're not familiar with the name, you may be familiar with his works. He's the guy that did the Hidden Colors documentary series. He has 4 editions of Hidden Colors, and it's an anti-white supremacy documentary series going into black culture, black history, letting us know the what's up and the get down, and it's very popular. It's probably the most popular pro-black, for lack of a better term, documentary series in recent times. He also has another joint called 1804, another documentary on the Haitian Revolution, right? Now, even though this is regarded to have been a swatting technique that people did, Tariq Nasheed thinks it was something else. But before we get into that and chop that up a bit and talk about it, let's just watch this little news clip that pretty much recaps the events that happened yesterday, right? Let's get it.
Police officers creeped toward the home of Tariq Nasheed. He was sound asleep when police first tried to make contact by telephone.
They said, "This is the police. You need to come outside. What are you wearing?" So I hung up again. I'm like, that sounds weird.
A fourth call sent Nasheed to his front door.
I looked out the front door and there's people with guns pointed at me.
He called the police back and was advised to go outside with his ID.
They were told that there was bombs in the house and I had my wife kidnapped and tied up, and it was just a whole thing they made up. And again, the police kind of suspected that it could have been a swatting thing.
Swatting is when someone makes a false report to police, prompting an emergency response.
A lot of stuff we want to talk about tonight.
Nasheed is a popular figure on YouTube and has produced a series of documentaries about blacks in America.
Anytime you talk about racial injustice, that's going to make you a target. Going back, and Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Dr. King.
He believes white supremacists are behind the swatting, the same ones that troll him online and have sent police on false reports to his public speaking events. This, though, is the first time he's been targeted at home and involved his wife and child. Nasheed remained cool, but questions why he was handcuffed when police already suspected this was a bogus call.
They were actually good guys, and I take my hat off to them. They were very professional. But what if they weren't, though? That's a dangerous situation to put somebody in, especially a person, a black American, in this day and age where you can be killed with impunity.
Well, he also points to an incident in Kansas earlier this year. That's when a man here in Los Angeles called swatting in Kansas, and then the man there was killed by police. Meantime, what is the penalty for swatting? It's a minor one, basically making a false report to police. And again, Nasheed said it probably should be more strict since it can put people in real jeopardy. Reporting live in Chatsworth, Susan Hirasuna, Fox 11 News.
All right, so there you have it. That was a report and the recap of what happened yesterday, right? Now, you want to know what Tariq Nasheed considered this? Well, check it out. I was just listening to his YouTube show about an hour ago, and he was recapping the events. And to paraphrase, he said something along the lines of, "Now, family, this was not a swatting event that happened, you dig? What I think what actually happened was an assassination attempt. And the only reason these white supremacists couldn't pull that assassination attempt off is because there were already news vans outside when I came out the crib, you dig? So that's why they couldn't, because these white supremacists, there's some crafty people out there." To paraphrase, that's basically what Tariq Nasheed claims that happened, that it was an assassination attempt, because he broke it down. He said, look, swatting, as you heard the news lady say, swatting is like a minor offense. It's like a misdemeanor or whatever. And he also brought up examples of other black people that had done similar things to other people, and they didn't consider it swatting at that time. Yet, when this happens, it's considered swatting. Personally, I think he's trying to milk it for to whatever height that he possibly can, and to go through that stress, to have your wife coming out the house holding the child and all that. To be honest, I don't blame him. It is what it is, right? And it really makes you wonder, because personally, what I feel is that, like, trolls, they, in some ways or another, they run the internet. Think about it. They're like War Machine. At least the War Machine in the comics. Remember when Marvel comic character War Machine, when the dude was remotely controlling him, when there was nobody in the suit and it was just a complete robot, and he'll go out there with Iron Man and start catching wreck and doing all this and that while he's just at the computer at the Avengers base or whatever doing his 1-2 thing? That's what trolls can do. Look at this. A troll was able to point a gun in Tariq Nasheed's face, and all he had to do was get on the phone. Hello, I think there's a bomb at such and such location. Tariq Nasheed is a terrorist. Go get him. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy out there. But this story gets even actually a little bit deeper, because, as I said, I was listening to his YouTube show, which you could find at Tariq Radio on YouTube. I was listening to it about an hour ago, and I come to find out there was an incident that happened about 2 or 3 days prior to this that happened last night, where a popular video game playing blogger, where people play video games and they throw money at them, a popular, white long-nosed bird-looking dude by the name of Ice Poseidon was in Denny's with his buddies, and apparently he said some off-key comment, some like racist comment or something. Some people at another table happened to ear hustle and heard what he said, and they got into a little brouhaha. It ensued. Ice Poseidon, being a popular video gamer, the news of this story, it kind of circulated around the interwebs, and Tariq Nasheed caught wind of it, and he kind of like got in his in his hind end on Twitter. He had some choice words to say to this suspected white supremacist, long-nosed bird-looking Caucasian gentleman by the name of Ice Poseidon. Ice Poseidon responds saying that he's going to sue him, all this and that. Next thing you know, 3 days later, this happens. Also, I guess Tariq was doing his research, because he said that when the sheriff or the cops or whoever, when they were in the crib after the incident, when it cooled down and they were explaining what happened, they let Tariq hear the voice of the person that made the anonymous call. I mean, they couldn't trace the call, but they let Tariq hear the voice, and it was someone with a British accent. Tariq was able to make a connection that found out that Ice Poseidon's peoples, at least one of his peoples, had a British accent. So there might be a connection there. Also did a little research. I was looking on Reddit. They're talking about Tariq Nasheed is coming to E3, which is like a video game comic book festival. I think, more actually, E3 is more video games. Comic-Con, that's the comic one. So there's an E3 event coming, I think Friday or next week or something like that. And they're saying, Tariq Nasheed's going to be there to get revenge and all this and that. And meanwhile, Tariq Nasheed was just inquiring about the E3, thinking that he may go. But you know how the internet is with trolls. They hear something, they want to keep that smoke smoking. So they're going to say, you could just make like a casual comment. I might check that E3 out. Next thing you know, that translates, Tariq's going to get revenge on y'all that plotted this, that, the third to him. And he's going to come with a whole bunch of dudes and start tearing stuff up at E3. So, this is, there's always something going on in the wonderful land of www. You know what I'm saying? So that's the story. Y'all tell me what y'all think. My little personal opinion is, it just goes to show, man, trolls, they could really run things. They could really run things around here. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really like it, man. Just on the sheer fact that you get to hide your identity, not show your face, and just do moves like that. It's like the silent, cowardly ninja. You know what I'm saying? So like, share, comment, all that. I even wrote it on the side there. Tell me what you think about this thing. And I'll catch y'all later.